offenders. Who are fugitive economic offenders?
The one who have gone out of the country.
Yes. One who got, say if I just go abroad, will I be a fugitive offender? No. So what have they done to be considered a fugitive offender? What have they done to be considered a fugitive offender? Anybody? Offenders in India who have been considered fugitive offenders.
Non-resident. Jay Malia.
Vijay Malia, yes.
Nityananda.
No, which who?
Nityananda.
No. He's not considered still a fugitive offender.
Nirav Modi, Lalit Modi.
Nirav Modi, yes. Nirav Modi is considered a fugitive. Anyone else that you all know? Okay, there are actually 10 people who have been considered as a fugitive offenders. They have been declared a fugitive offender as per the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. There are 10 people who have been considered up till now. Now, basically, all these 10 people are people involved in fraud cases more than 40 crores of with more than 40 crores. So basically, those are the people that will be considered as a fugitive offenders. Now, is this a very new act or it's an old act? Have you all heard this before or it's just recently come? What do you all think?
New.
It's a new act. It is a new act. Now, when this act come into place, now the act only came into existence in 2018. So 2018, the government had come up with a Fugitive Economic Offenders Act, and they have specified 10 people who have been considered as fugitive offenders as per the Indian as per the Indian laws. Now, who are these people? They have done fraud of a lot of amounts. Say they have cheated banks, they have cheated public, all of that, and they have they've ran out of the country. Now those people and they become absconding. Say you cannot reach out to them, you do not know their whereabouts. Those people are called as fugitive economic offenders. Now, the Act provides for measures to deter fugitive economic offenders from evading the process of law in India. So basically, they try to run away out of the country because if you go out of the country, India will not have a jurisdiction by staying outside the jurisdiction of Indian court. So as I said, if you stay outside the country, it is difficult for India to put a case against them or try to get them back into the country to preserve the sanity of the rule of law in India. So basically, this particular act is to make sure that we get back some money from these people. So that's what they're trying to make out of the particular act. Now, what are the salient features of the act? It defines who is a fugitive economic offender, key managerial person, proceeds of crime, what crime they do, which is considered as a offense. Provisions of attachment of property. We'll see that empowers director to relating to survey, search and seizure and search of person. Confiscation of the property of a fugitive economic offender. dissettlement of a fugitive economic by putting forward defending any civil claim, appointment of an administrator, appeal to the High Court against the issued by special court. So these are the salient features of the particular act. I am not sure if the I don't think the old syllabus has this. So if you are doing old syllabus, if old syllabus people are there, you can skip this chapter. This chapter is not there in your textbooks. Only the Benami transaction was there for you all. This is not there. Okay. Any individual against whom a warrant for arrest in relation to a scheduled offence has been issued by any court in India who has left India to avoid criminal prosecution or being abroad refuses to return to India to face criminal prosecution is a fugitive economic offender. So now these are people who are, considered as a fugitive economic offenders. Now, one second. Okay. So the definition of fugitive economic. So to avoid any criminal proceedings, they kind of run away from India, and they'll be in abroad. They'll be in abroad, and they refuse to come back to India to face the criminal proceedings. Now that person is a fugitive economic offenders. Now under what acts? So you will have to tell me under what. So there are a lot of acts which an individual can be considered as a fugitive economic offender. I'll give you one example, like say there are certain offenses under the Indian Penal Code which is considered for this particular fugitive economic offender. So what are the other acts that considers a person fugitive? So what can you think of? What are the other acts that considers a person fugitive economic offenders? What are the offenses? I'm not asking you the section, but under what acts it will be considered as a fugitive offense?
Violation of FEMA.
Violation of FEMA, yes.
Money laundering act.
Can you repeat, please?
Money laundering act.
No, your voice is still not audible.
Money laundering.
Money laundering, yes, money laundering. Anybody else can anything else that you all can think of? We just studied one chapter, Benami transactions also. What other acts can be considered as an economic offender? Customs, excise, is that possible? Okay, so you have the Negotiable Instrument Act, you have the Indian Penal Code, you have the RBI, you have the Central Excise, you have the Customs, you have the Benami Property, you have the Prevention of Corruption Act, you have the SEBI, you have the LLP, you have the Foreign Contribution, you have the Companies Act, you have the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, and you have the Central Goods Services Tax. Now, under all of these, there are various sections. You don't have to remember all that. There are various sections under each particular act, which, if you do those offences, you will be considered as a fugitive economic offender. Now, what is the procedure? Now, the entire chapter is only points by points, so we just go through that one by one. What is the procedure for declaration of fugitive economic offender? Now, the director is appointed for the purpose of prevention of money laundering or any other officer not below the rank of deputy director, he files an application in a particular form and prescribed manner to the special court. Now he files a form. What details are required is reasons. Now, who can file the application is none other than the director or not below the rank of a deputy director. Now, only these people can, and who are in under which act they are appointed. They are appointed under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Those officers shall file an application form. Now, what is there in that application? Reasons mentioned that the particular individual is a fugitive economic offender. Any information available, whereabouts, where the person is, which country he is living in, those details, what you've done investigation, you will have to mention. A list of property on the value of such property believed to be proceeds of crime. Now, if it is outside India also, that has to be mentioned. A list of property of Benami properties owned by an individual in India or abroad. Now, if it is a Benami transactions, that will also have to come into light. A list of persons who may have interest in any properties listed under clause. So, in above, if it is a Benami transaction or if it's a property believed to be purchased by proceeds of crime, then those persons also list of those. Now, if they are joint holders, or if the director is holding any property, if the director of the company is holding any property, then all of such people's name will also have to be mentioned. So the application will have all these 5 details. Now, okay, if you know the Vijay Mallya case properly, then UB City was one of the properties that the authority had considered as proceeds of crime. So they had confiscated the particular property. The UB City was held. I mean, there were multiple properties, but the main that I can think of, one property is the UB City apartment that he had, that entire building. So that was confiscated and it had come into auction also. Now, where an application has been duly filed, now you give all those details to the special court, and the special court will issue a notice to the individual. Now, the notice shall also be issued to any person who has any interest in the property. Now, if the property is held jointly hold, the notice will be given to those people also. A notice of special court shall require the individual to appear at a specified place and a specified time, not less than 6 weeks from the date of issue of such notice. So time is given, 6 weeks is given for the person to appear at a particular place and time. And state the failure to appear on the specific period and time shall result in a declaration of individual as a fugitive economic offender. So basically, they will give time. They will give 6 weeks of time for the person to appear. If you do not appear, then you will be declared as an offender. A notice shall also be forwarded to such authority as the central government may notify for effecting service in a contracting state. So basically, say if it involves any other particular act, say like the narcotics or the SEBI, all of that, the notice will be given to those people. The notice will be forwarded to them also. A notice may also be served to an individual alleged to be a fugitive by electronic means to his electronic email address connected with the application of enrollment. Okay, so basically, if you know how the notice has to be served, if there's an email ID which is available, if it has been registered, say under the PAN or any other Aadhaar card or any of that sort, notice will also be sent to the email ID that has been registered with the government authorities. Now, where any individual to whom notice has been issued by the special court shall appear in person at the place and time specified in the notice. Now, where any individual to whom notice has been issued fails to appear, then the special court enters appearance through counsel. So basically, he doesn't appear. He sends his lawyers to appear on behalf of him. Then the special court will give them 1 week time to file the reply to the application. So basically, if you've sent your lawyer, that means you are interested to take the proceedings of go ahead with it. So they will ask you to reply to the application that has been provided with by the director authority. Where any individual to whom notice has been issued fails to enter appearance either in person or through the counsel, then the special court will know that the person is a fugitive offender. And say even if they've tried to give the notice, if the person is not appearing, then they will be considered. I mean, if the notice doesn't reach them, that means it will be no way that you can contact that particular person, and he'll be considered as a fugitive economic offender. Any doubts? Anybody's got any doubts? Okay. Okay. Now, what happens is, now we saw the process. They send the notice. We saw how we saw that a particular person is identified, an application is filed. Now, the notice is given to the particular person, whether email or in person, asking them to come and appear. Now, what happens after it? Now, how do they declare it? Now, after hearing the application, now the entire application is filled and is filed, and the special court is satisfied that the particular individual is a fugitive economic, he will declare the person as a fugitive economic offender under the particular act in writing. So he will give in writing that this person is to be considered as a fugitive economic offender. Now, on declaration of the special court, what happens is all the properties will stay confiscated by the central government. Now, the proceeds of crime in India or abroad, whether or not such property is owned by the fugitive economic or any other property, any benami transaction. Basically, any property which is considered in the whole process is held by the central government. The confiscation order of the special court shall, to the extent possible, identify the properties in India and abroad and constitute the proceeds of crime which are confiscated. In the case may be quantify the value of proceeds of crime. So basically, they will try to quantify, take a value, put a value to the property. Now, if there are 10 or 15 properties, all the 10 or 15 properties will be valued, and will try to measure on how much, if you sell that, how much will it help for the loss that the person has, for the offense that the person has committed. The confiscation order of the special court shall separately list any other property owned by the fugitive economic in India which is to be confiscated. Now, what happens is, if we looked at two type of properties. We looked at proceed of crime properties and we looked at benami transaction properties. Now, if other than those two, if there are any other properties held by the offender, that list will be separately given to the special court, and special court can order those properties also to be confiscated. Where the special court has made an order for confiscation of any property and such property is contracting state, or special court may issue a letter to the court or authority in the contracting state for execution of such order. So basically, if for some reason the state holds the property, the state will also be given a notice saying that this property is going to be transferred to the central government. Now, every letter of request to be transmitted to a contracting state can be transmitted in such form and manner as a central government. So basically, there are a lot of properties in various cities, so every state government will also be given the confiscation notices. The special court, while making the confiscation order, exempt from confiscating any property which is a proceed of crime in which other person other than a fugitive economic offender has an interest, if it is satisfied that such interest was acquired bona fide or without knowledge of the fact of the proceeds of crime. So basically what happens is, if a particular special court decides that a particular property is held by another person also who is not a fugitive economic offender, then they will they will decide on whether they need to consider that property or not. All the rights and titles will go to the central government. All encumbrances will be free from all encumbrances. Encumbrances nothing but payment of tax, payment of duties, anything which is due, it will be free from all of that. Where on the conclusion of the proceedings, the special court finds that the individual is not a fugitive offender, the special court shall order release of property. Now, during the entire process of consideration of fugitive offender, they realize that okay, this person has come back to India and is willing to pay. They will release all the property, whatever they have confiscated, they will release all that property. Where an order releasing the property has been made by the special court, the director or any other authority authorized by them shall release and record for the period of 90 days from the date of register. So within 90 days, they need to release the confiscation of the property. Anyone's got any doubt in whatever we've read so far? Any questions? Anybody?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's move ahead. Now, power to disallow civil claims is nothing but, say, if the person is a party to any other, say, if I'm a fugitive economic offender, I'm abroad, but I have multiple cases that I have filed in India in my name, claiming property or claiming, this vendor has not paid me, that vendor has not paid me. All of that will not be entertained. So, once I have been considered as fugitive economic offender, all the civil claims also that I have made will be not allowed. So, all those cases will be paused. Attachment of property, any director or any other officer who provisionally attaches any property within a period of 30 days that file an application before the special court. So basically, any director, they attach the property and within 30 days they need to, we saw what an application details are required. They will have to file all those details with the special court. Now, the attachment of property shall be for a period of 180 days and it can be extended by the special court. Power of survey is nothing but inspect records, and they will have to check records, check accounts, verify whether this particular property has been received by the proceed of crimes. Place mark of identification on the records that whatever he feels that the authority, the director has got right to make copies, make books of accounts, mark whatever is required, make an inventory of the property, check verified. So you make a list, you check how much is the value of the property, all those details. Record any statement. So if anybody is, if anybody is there in the property, say in the building, any watchman or any other employee, you can also take a recording of any person's statements. Now, all of this, the director or any other officer has got the power to do under this particular act. Now, search and seizure also, so they have the right to search. They also have the right to seize any documentation. So, any proof that they feel that is necessary and it can be erased, all of that, they have the right to seize that particular property also. And all this will have, the details will have to be presented to the special court based on their application. Now, appeal. What happens is an appeal shall be filed from any judgment or order not being an interlocutory order of a special court to the High Court, both on facts and order. So, So there are two types: facts, cases on facts and cases on law. So both you can appeal to the High Court on both. Every appeal shall be preferred within a period of 30 days from the date of judgment of the applied form. So, from the special court, if the special court has given an order, within a period of 30 days, you can apply to the High Court. Now, the High Court may entertain an appeal after the expiry of 30 days if you have given a particular explanation, and if they are satisfied, they will allow you to file an appeal after 30 days also. Yes, Manoj.
Ma'am, if any property is situated in a foreign country, my economic offender, can officers claim that property? No?
Yeah, so there is a terminology. 1 second, I will just tell you. There is a terminology of there's a terminology in fugitive of economic offenders which is called contracting state. Now, contracting state is nothing but any state wherever contracting state means a country or place outside India in respect of arrangements have been made by the central government with the government of such country through a treaty or otherwise. So basically, if there are properties and if you have a treaty with the particular contracting state, you can consider speaking to them. So they have various treaties with every country. So to do things, say confiscation of property or trying to send the person back to our country, all of whom, as per the treaty, whatever's there in the treaty, they will try to make arrangements as per that. Now, for Nirav Modi also, they tried getting him back to the country based on the treaty that was signed by the respective government, but things didn't work out and he wasn't sent to our country. But he was considered as a fugitive economic offender.
Okay, ma'am. What is this facts and law?
So, I'll tell you. That's 1 second. Facts. So it is actually what do you say? It is a law of torts. So there is a law called law of torts. There they kind of consider filing a case in two categories. One is facts and one is law. So you file a case based on the facts. Say this A and B. A has stole my property, so because of that, he has not paid me money. I've sold the property. He's not paid the money. So that is facts. So on facts, I file the case. So I've sold the property. He's not bought the property. That's a fact. So I file a case based on the fact. Now, based on the law is nothing but as per the law, I had to receive something from a particular person which I have not received. For example, I'll give you an example. Say probably I should have received interest under the RERA. So as per RERA, they have to give. I'm in a lottery, and they had to give me interest, and the promoter has not paid me interest. Now that is law of. I'm filing a case as a law based on the law. So as per the law, I should have received interest. I haven't received the interest. So that is cases as per law. So you can file cases on two types: one based on facts and one based on law. So this is something to do with law of torts. So there is a subject in LLB which is called law of torts. Hope I've clarified your question.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So that's the end of the fugitive economic offenders also. So these two chapters are small, subject something similar to each other. Any queries anybody's got?
No, ma'am.